Hi guys, Jay and I'm here with the topic cross-platform UI development with C++ and the free library wxWidgets. First I will show you where you can download it. You can get it from this page here, the link is added to the description. It is cross-platform, this means it is available for Windows, Linux and Mac. You can either get the source code of the library and compile it by yourself, but we are going to download the binaries for Windows and use it in Visual Studio to create our first very simple project. The process on how to do this is described in this short article, but I think it's easier to follow along this tutorial. So let's go ahead and download all the files we need for Visual Studio 2017. These are the header files. Then the development files for the 64-bit Windows OS. And finally the dynamic link libraries, the DLLs. You could also download the PDBs for debugging, but that's not the topic of this tutorial. Okay, once we downloaded all the files we need, we are going to extract them into a separate folder. I'm using 7-zip here, you can use any program you like to extract the files. I extract all the files into a folder called libs wxWidgets. First the development libraries into a lib folder. Then the DLLs will also be extracted into the same folder. You can see this here, it contains now dynamic link libraries and libs to be linked statically. And finally we have to extract the header files into a folder called include. Okay, that's nice, but it's better to add a folder for the version, so I add a new folder called 3.1.2. This is the version of wxWidgets that we downloaded, and I'm going to add all the folders that we extracted to this new folder. Alright, and the next thing we have to do is to add some environment variables. I open the environment variables dialog in Windows 10, my OS, and then I will add a new environment variable called wxWin. And this variable will point to the path that we just added for wxWidgets. Okay, you remember, this is the file path dlibs wxWidgets 3.1.2. Now we are able to refer to this path in the integrated development environment in Visual Studio. Okay, so let's open Visual Studio 2017. This is the Community Edition, and I'm going to create a new project, and the project type is Visual C++ Windows Desktop. I named this project, for example, wxWidgets test app. You can call this whatever you like. And then this project is created with a lot of platform dependent stuff, which we don't need. But I create this kind of project because the settings are alright for an application, we just need to remove the files that we don't need. And these are, well, almost all the files. We just keep the std.afx and this C++ file and remove all the code. Don't be afraid. It's alright. Okay, now we open the project properties, and the first thing that we have to configure is the additional include directories. First ensure to set this for all configurations and for the 64-bit platform. If you downloaded the 64-bit libraries and you have a 64-bit OS, and then find the additional include directories here under the C++ tab, and the subsection is general. Okay, and now we have to add the following in this order. The environment variable wxWin followed by include msvc, and then again wxWin include. That's it. Now Visual Studio knows where to find the header files for wxWidgets. Alright, now we have to add some preprocessor definitions. The first one is wx using DLL, which means we are not going to link static libraries, we are going to use dynamic link libraries, and the second one is wxMSVC version auto, which is needed to indicate that we want to use a special version of the Microsoft Visual C++ libraries, for example version 14. Okay, and this one is to suppress some compiler warnings, and the last thing that you have to check is that these Unicode definitions are set. And we are almost done with the configuration of the project. We have to go to the linker now and define the additional library directories. This is where the linker of C++ has to search for the libraries of wxWidgets, and it will find it here under lib and this subfolder. But we can replace this path here with our environment variable to be more flexible. Okay, and now we are ready to code. But in this first getting started tutorial for wxWidgets, we just want to run a simple example, so we go to the wxWidgets tutorials page, copy this example code and paste it into the empty C++ file. But after we pasted this, we have a lot of errors here. So let's see what's wrong and how we can resolve this. First of all, no matter what, let's compile the project. And the first error we get is that we perhaps forgot to include the std.afx header file. And that's true. If you want to use precompiled headers, you have to include this header file. I will explain this in a future tutorial. For now, let's just add this include. Okay, but still there is something wrong. The wxWidgets library isn't found. So what could be wrong? Let's have a look at this. We are going to compile an application for 32 bits, but we need to compile for 64 bits. And what happens now when I go to 64 bits is the library is found, we can compile the application without errors and everything is fine and we could go ahead and start, right? No. Why does this happen? We can compile the project, but these dynamic link libraries of wxWidgets are not found when we start the application. Because they are not statically linked into the executable that we created, they have to be deployed to the same directory as this executable, or they have to be in the path environment variable so that they can be found when the application is started. So I could either copy the files that are needed at runtime into the folder of the executable, or just go ahead and add the path of this dynamic link libraries to the path environment variable of Windows. And this is exactly what I'm going to do now. I just add this folder to the path, then I start the application again, and then we can see this. Complicated, right? Not really. We have to restart Visual Studio so that the IDE knows about the change of the path variable. And then we start the program again, and finally we can see our first very simple wxWidgets application. Okay, what's included? We have some dialogues, we have a menu, some actions, we have a status bar, and we can quit the application. Okay, for this getting started tutorial, I would say let's just go through the code so that you can see the basics on how to create a simple application like this. The first class, the starting class, is the application class, myApp, which is derived from wxApp. It has a virtual method called onInit that is called when the application is started. Most of the time in this method the main window is opened, and a window is in wxWidgets a frame. The frame is derived from wxFrame. The class in this application is called myFrame. It has a few methods and a constructor with a title, a position, and a size for the window. Okay, so let's go to the implementation, which is in the same file, which is not good style. In the next tutorial we will separate header and implementation. Here we have an event table in which callback methods are registered for certain IDs. Some of them are predefined by wxWidgets, others are custom IDs. As I said, in the onInit method of the application class, a frame of type myFrame is instantiated with the title hello world, and then it is displayed by using the method show. In the constructor of myFrame, a menu is created, of type wxMenu, and menu items with IDs defined in the event table are added to the menu. This means whenever a menu item is selected by the user, this ID is used to call the method that is registered for this ID in the event table. A very simple mechanism using macros. There is a more dynamic one that I will show in a future tutorial. In the end of the method, a default status bar is added with the text "Welcome to wxWidgets." Okay, then we have the implementations of the callback methods. This is onExit, which is just closing the application. Then there is onAbout that shows a wx message box with an OK button, an info icon, some text and a title. And finally a message box is opened in the onHello method. So you can see it's very simple to create platform independent UIs with C++ and wxWidgets. In the next tutorial I will show you a more elaborated example. So guys, that's it for this tutorial. If you are interested in tutorials about libraries and topics like that, please let me know. If you have any questions about wxWidgets, C++ or programming in general, add these to the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I see you on JNM.